We don't talk at all about the possibility of alien tech. And I think we should take it into consideration because the object maneuvers in ways that cannot be explained by the force of gravity, that there must be an engine in it.
The orbiter's ultraviolet sensors went wild. This wasn't a random explosion. A deeper analysis of the light revealed something that simply shouldn't be possible. Spectrometers which break down light to see what chemicals are present found that the flare was caused by a massive burst of carbon dioxide gas. But that wasn't the stunning part. The outgassing wasn't chaotic like a normal comet. Instead, it was pulsing. The jets of carbon dioxide were firing in a precise repeating pattern with a perfect cadence of exactly 17 minutes between each burst. It was like a cosmic heartbeat. To make matters even more unbelievable, the jets were perfectly aligned with the orbital plane of Mars. It was as if the object was using these bursts to deliberately fine-tune its approach. No known comet behaves this way. Nature is random and messy. This was orderly, precise, and seemingly intelligent. The question was no longer if it would reach Mars, but what it would do when it got there. And the next set of data would refute all doubt that this was made of simple ice and rock. It was harder than rock. By mid-September, the world's most powerful eyes were all fixed on the interstellar enigma. The Deep Space Network, a collection of massive radio antennas across the globe, began to ping 3I Atlas with powerful radar signals. This is like sonar in space. You send out a wave and listen for the echo. The nature of the echo tells you what the object is made of. If it's a fluffy, icy comet, the signal comes back soft and scattered. If it's a solid, rocky asteroid, the return is a bit sharper. When the echoes from 3I Atlas came back, the technicians couldn't believe what they were seeing. The return signal was sharp, hard, and clean. It was the unmistakable signature of a dense metallic surface. This wasn't a snowball from another star. It was something manufactured, or at the very least, something solid and massive. Based on the radar cross-section, analysts calculated its core to be over 1,300 feet across, with a staggering mass approaching 10 billion tons. That's the weight of over 270 Empire State Buildings combined. The implications were terrifying. A fluffy comet might break up in the Martian atmosphere, creating a spectacular but largely harmless light show. But a 10-billion-ton bullet made of metal. The impact simulations were the stuff of nightmares. A direct strike on Mars would be a civilization-ending event if the planet were inhabited. It would gouge a crater miles wide, vaporize anything at ground zero, and throw enough dust into the atmosphere to trigger a planet-wide winter. The object was no longer a scientific curiosity. It was now being treated as a potential weapon. And then a European space probe spotted something even more disturbing. Just when it seemed the situation couldn't get any more bizarre, the European Space Agency's Mars Express orbiter flagged something new. While observing the main body of 3I Atlas, its high-resolution cameras detected 3 smaller glinting points of light nearby. At first, operators thought they might be fragments that had broken off the main object, a common occurrence with comets. But as they tracked their movement, a chilling pattern emerged. These 3 objects were not tumbling randomly through space. They were holding a perfect, unwavering triangular formation around 3I Atlas. They moved in perfect sync with the main body, like a disciplined escort. No natural phenomenon could explain this. Fragments would drift apart, pushed by solar winds and the object's own outgassing. But these 3 points were locked in a geometric pattern, maintaining their distance and position with impossible precision. The debate inside the newly formed task force was frantic. Were they escorts? Were they autonomous drones or pods released from a larger parent craft? Or were they merely strange reflections, a trick of the light? But every new piece of data pointed toward the unbelievable conclusion that 3I Atlas was not alone. It was a convoy. The discovery turned the threat level from critical to existential. Whatever was heading for Mars was technologically sophisticated and, by all indications, purposefully navigating its way through our solar system.
Since that's where most matter is distributed.
A secret global meeting was called, and the fate of a planet hung in the balance, the silent panic of nations. On September 19th, an emergency meeting was convened. It wasn't announced to the public. Behind closed doors, leaders from all the major spacefaring powers, NASA, ESA, Roscosmos, the CNSA from China, and JAXA from Japan, gathered to coordinate a response. The tension was palpable. For the first time, humanity was facing a potential threat that was not of its own making. It's funny when you think about it. For decades, these nations had competed in space, a new kind of Cold War playing out in orbits and on moon landings. Now they were huddled together, forced into an uneasy alliance against a common unknown factor.
That runs on orange juice instead of gasoline. It fundamentally shouldn't work based on our
to address the interstellar hazard. The debate was fierce, splitting the room into two camps. On one side were the scientists pleading for caution. On the other were the military strategists whose entire careers were built on preparing for the worst-case scenario. Two main options were on the table, and both were terrifying. The first option was passive observation. Watch the object gather as much data as possible, and pray that it missed Mars. This was the safest option for humanity, as any attempt to interfere could be seen as an aggressive act. If this was a probe from an advanced civilization attacking it, could have consequences beyond imagination. It could be like throwing a rock at a battleship. The second option was interception, use every available resource to try and deflect or destroy the object. But what could possibly stop a 10 billion-ton metallic craft traveling at 54 miles per second? A nuclear warhead. A kinetic impactor. The thing nobody tells you is that at those speeds, a nuclear bomb might feel like a firecracker. The object's own kinetic energy would dwarf any weapon we could throw at it. The risks were enormous. A failed attempt might only break the object into smaller, equally dangerous pieces, turning a single bullet into a shotgun blast aimed directly at the planet. Making things worse, some of the key radar findings were now classified, meaning even some of the experts in the room didn't have the full picture. The world was holding its breath, waiting for a decision. As of this morning, September 26, 2025, the decision appears to be one of watchful waiting. 3I Atlas is projected to sweep past Mars at a distance of about 1.2
a new phenomenon,
miles.
Just because
On
only
paper,
three
that
have
sounds
been
like a safe margin, but in cosmic terms, it's a stone's throw. The problem is that this projection is based on its last known trajectory, but the object is still firing its mysterious 17-minute pulses, making its path still unpredictable. Mission leaders at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory remain on the edge of their seats, running contingency plans for the priceless assets on and around Mars. The danger is far from over. Even if the main body misses, what about the cloud of debris it's traveling with? At its incredible speed, even a grain of sand could hit the Perseverance rover or the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter with the force of a bomb. What about its massive energy output? The models suggest its passage could temporarily ionize the upper layers of Mars's thin atmosphere, potentially frying the sensitive electronics of our orbiters. These questions remain unanswered. The peer-reviewed publications have gone silent, and the official channels are releasing only carefully worded statements about a unique observational opportunity. The true nature of 3I Atlas remains a complete mystery. It is a ghost from another world that has challenged our understanding of the universe. Is it an automated probe on a million-year journey? Are the three smaller objects its own reconnaissance drones scanning the red planet as they pass? It has forced humanity to confront the chilling possibility that we are not alone and that our planetary defense capabilities are nowhere near ready for what might be lurking in the dark. The alert flashed across secure servers on August 7th, a red flag. The object designated 3I Atlas was off its predicted course. A quiet panic rippled deep within NASA and Harvard's astronomy departments. This visitor from another star system, was moving faster than almost anything ever tracked. Worse, something was actively pushing it, steering it. A month earlier, what started as a routine discovery had now morphed into a potential crisis. Its target was Mars, and with every passing hour, the chance of a close encounter or a direct hit was growing threatening to forever change our understanding of the universe. It all started on a crisp winter night on July 1st, 2025 in Chile. Deep in the Atacama Desert, where the air is thinner and stars burn brighter, a powerful network of telescopes called Atlas had an incredible night. This system, humanity's watchdog, is a state-of-the-art defense against rogue asteroids. Its job is to scan the entire night sky every 24 hours, searching for faint specks of light, moving where they shouldn't. And on this particular night, it found something truly extraordinary. A faint, fuzzy object was cataloged almost immediately as a long-period comet. But as analysts dug into the data, a strange realization dawned: this wasn't one of ours. Its trajectory, its speed, its very essence screamed that it came from the vast, dark ocean between stars. It was only the third interstellar object ever confirmed by humankind, a true alien. The scientific community buzzed with quiet excitement. The object was named 3I Atlas, with the 3I standing for Third Interstellar. The first two such visitors, Oumuamua and Borisov, had completely rewritten the books on what was possible. Oumuamua was a bizarre cigar-shaped tumbler, and Borisov looked more like a traditional comet. What secrets would this third messenger from the void bring? Initial observations showed a fuzzy cloud, a coma of gas and dust, suggesting it was a chunk of ice and rock, slowly waking up as it neared our sun. It was a fascinating discovery, a chance to peek at the building blocks of another distant solar system. But it's funny when you think about it, nobody suspected this faint ghost was about to become the single most terrifying object in the sky. That initial excitement was about to turn into pure dread. By August 7th, the picture had changed completely. For over a month, astronomers at Harvard and other top institutions had been meticulously tracking 3I Atlas, feeding every new observation into powerful supercomputers. These machines can predict a celestial body's path with incredible accuracy, accounting for the gravitational pull of the Sun, Jupiter, and every other major player in the solar system. But the computer models for 3I Atlas kept spitting out errors. There was a problem. The object was moving at nearly 54 miles per second, fast enough to travel from Los Angeles to New York City in under a minute. It was one of the fastest things ever recorded, passing through our system. But its incredible speed wasn't the most alarming part. The real issue was what analysts called non-gravitational residuals. In simple terms, something other than gravity was pushing it, making it deviate from its predicted path. It was as if an unseen hand was gently steering this interstellar traveler. At first, the calculated missed distance with Mars was a comfortable millions of miles, but with each new calculation, that gap was shrinking. A quiet panic started to set in. Comets can be pushed by outgassing or Strom, where solar heat turns ice into jets of gas like tiny rocket thrusters. But the push on 3I Atlas was too consistent, too clean. The red flags were multiplying on screens in secured offices, and the world's most brilliant minds had no explanation. The object wasn't just passing through. It felt like it was on a mission, and its target was becoming clearer every single day. But a shocking observation was about to make a bad situation infinitely worse. On August 14th, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, a sophisticated 10-year-old satellite that has been our eyes on the red planet, was given a new task. It turned its powerful instruments away from the Martian surface and looked out into the blackness of space, aiming directly at the approaching anomaly 3I Atlas. What it saw sent shockwaves through the international space community. In a sudden, brilliant flash, the object doubled in brightness. It was a massive energy surge, a flare so intense it was immediately flagged by every watching observatory.